Hello once again, gamers. Cruznik X back with more Final Fantasy. I figured I'd do this episode really quick just to finish a couple of side quests that have been kind of bugging me in here, and also to give kind of like an epilogue. So first we'll do the quests, and then we'll worry about everything else. So first we'll talk to the company Kvel and start with the level 1 quest, Making Bacon Bread.
I'm sure you are aching to take the weight off your feet after so long and arduous a journey, but my husband seeks an audience. You must forgive the man. He can be a trifle demanding at times, but I assure you he means no ill.
A beacon built atop the ruins of a lost city, you say? I would so like to hear more of this latest adventure. But to do so sans refreshment would be in poor taste indeed. I shall send for an assortment of viands and a bottle of my finest. Then again, why send a minion to do the job of a master? Before me stands a man in a class all his own when it comes to matters of procurement, as you amply proved earlier. After decades of experimentation, I have found that not save the freshest of freshly baked bacon bread can truly be said to complement my vintage collection. So, shall we say 10 loaves? And none of that day-old stuff. Only the highest quality will do. Understood? Are you kidding me? It's a culinarian craft. I better see if I can actually make this before I freaking... Why did I do that? Whoops. I cannot. Which means I've got to buy 10 fucking loaves of this stuff. Why? Why do we even bother? There it is. I imagine one of your myriad talents can procure 10 loaves of high-quality bacon bread without a second thought. Mayhap I shouldn't have asked for a score. Tell me, what is that breathtaking aroma? The bouquet of roasted grain and sweet cream butter, accented by the subtle tang of wood smoke. Could it be? Ah, it is! Bacon bread! And a quality seldom seen outside the realm's most decorated bakeries. So armed, we can at last celebrate the latest of your unparalleled achievements. A toast! Ah, yes, and yes, your reward. You must forgive me, for all I have to offer are these cracked crystals I found on one of my wanderings through the ancient and thoroughfares of Mach. If you do not care for them, feel free to throw them away. I shall not be in the least bit offended. Alright, let's talk. Alright, let's
Ah, fresh off your latest adventure. I suppose you are yearning for another quest, and it just so happens I may have something that needs fetching. Do you recall that wine my darling husband had you procure for him? You know, the one with in the rose bottle? Well, he positively loved it. So much so, in fact, that he's become obsessed with the vintage and would like to ask of you another favor. Go on now. He's standing right yonder.
Oh, gods. Chris, Genoma's told me of all your adventures. The Orbone Monastery, the Necro Hall of Linode. I can't pronounce that. Such fantastical sounding locales. Just don't ask me to spell them. Ah, yes, the Sundvianja. And what an amazing wine it was. I admit, before leaving Golemont, I was worried the Outlands vintages would not agree with my palate. But oh, how I was wrong. Not only was the rosé one of the best I've had during my time here, it is one of the best I've had, well, ever. I simply had to have more, so... Let me guess, you want me to get it. I went and purchased an entire crate of the stuff. You're kidding me. And I gave him quite a deal, I might add, which was not easy, seeing as how there is great demand for bottles of Sud Viaja throughout the 3 great continents. Where did he come from? I shall reserve my judgment on the veracity of Hancock's deal. But even were the price double, it would have been more than worth it. Fortunately, I recently sold an entire collection of my works to a little playhouse on Koganedori. The Mujikoza, I believe they called themselves. These Hingan words leave my tongue in knots. And scorned myself a tidy profit. The price of a single bottle more than a house in mist, you say? Huh, more than a birdhouse, I suppose. Oh, you were serious? Well then, I can inform you that that is most definitely not the case. Even during shortages, I've never had to ask more than, say, 20 or 30,000 gil a bottle. 40 if the buyer was wearing silks. You say Master Gigeruju provided you with this misinformation, did he? Why, the conniving devil! Well played, you lecherous Lalafell, you! I mean, that is terrible! What a terrible thing for him to do! Wait, was that Damascene wine we procured from Master Gigeruju some moons ago in exchange for one of his bottles of Sud Vianja? Yep. Do I, want to know about this, Hancock? Probably not, but I shall enlighten you anyway. It sounds like you and Hancock made quite the cunning devils, Chris. Still, I do feel somewhat responsible for this whole mess. As an apology, might I offer you a bottle of vintage Sud Vianja? No, of course not. Then what do you say to a bottle of Damascene? You could exchange it with the bottle you gave this Master Gigeruju and absolve yourself of all wrongdoing and whatnot. Ah, now you are probably wondering where one might find a bottle of genuine Damascene red, considering the hells you had to negotiate simply to find an empty bottle. Well, that, my distrustful friend, is where Hancock comes in. I do? Oh, yes, I do. And I just so happen to have a bottle of Dalmascan wine on my person this very moment. 3, in fact. And why do I carry bottles of the rarest wine in Othard on my person, you ask? I, am not at liberty to say. If you must know, I acquired them from one of my acquaintances in Rabanasta. Bah! All right, I purchased them from Lady Fran. Is this all what I think it is? Enough Dalmascan red to keep a Banga happy for a long, long time. Amongst the crystal sommeliers, there was a Vienna like Lady Fran. And when word came the Garleans were approaching, she ordered the entirety of the royal palace's cellars delivered here where they'd be safe from the Empire. Seeing as the situation with the palace is what it is, I don't believe anyone would mind Lente's tears using the wine to, say, fill the resistance's coffers. So, what is your offer? If this many bottles were to make it to market, the price would fall like a furball from an oak. I would be ruined. And here I thought they said you were a shrewd one. Now if it were I to acquire this much wine, I reckon I would only release a few bottles at a time to ensure, what would you call it, maximum profits?
Rinnock, there's no need to be rude to our guests. You told me before that the East Aldenard Trading Company could not provide the Dalmascan resistance with aid, as it would not be good for business. So I offer you something that will. Do you accept?
Not that it transpired anything like that, mind you. You know, if I could control the echo, you'd be boned. So, would you care to purchase a bottle? I jest! Now take a bottle and consider it my Apollo, and consider it the last you'll get from me. Nope. Take 2 bottles? All 3? Much better. Enough, Chris. Poor Hancock looks as if he's lost his mistress to a morbol. 3 bottles is more than fair to see your wounded honor restored. Think of it this way, Chris. If you hadn't saved the world from Ultima's bane, the High Seraph would most definitely have destroyed all that wine in the monastery simply out of spite. Meaning you're entitled to at least those 3. And if you so desire, you can take one of those bottles back to Costa del Sol and set things right. Though something tells me Master Gigeruju won't take kindly to you waltzing into his manor and demanding he exchange bottles for no apparent reason. Perhaps you might enlist the aid of that vintner from Wineport. What was his name again? Shamani Lomani! I guess I'm going to Wineport. Wait, Did you just say you have in your possession a bottle of genuine Damascus Red? By the 12, wherever did you find it? Amazing. Simply amazing. And it is safe to assume you are here to right a past wrong, one involving a fancy bottle full of falsehoods and fabrications? Well, I am more than willing to help you sort out this sordid mess. If I had said something back when I learned you would be trading a bottle of Valens for a mere Sud Vianja, none of us would be in this position in the first place. I shall accompany you to Master Gigeruju's seaside manor and explain to the man that the bottle you gave him had not been stored properly, and that we have come to exchange it with the one that he has. He is certain to believe the claim coming from me, his most trusted supplier. Spoiled? Shamani, I am shocked to hear that such a careless mistake was made on your watch. My deepest apologies, Master Gigeruju. I was not made aware of the error until recently, and have since been seeking to procure a replacement, the one I come bearing today. Would you care to partake in its aroma? I find you will recognize hints of kukuru, cinnamon, and, if you hold the goblet at just the right angle, freshly cut rosemary. A veritable kaleidoscope of both opulence and refinement, if I do say so. Without question, this bottle most certainly contains none other than Damascus Valens. I shall be the judge of that. Yes. A florid banquet of wooden distinctions hunkered beneath a rhapsodic veil of undertones and, what you said. Yes, this is without doubt a vintage Le Monde. I accept your apology and will allow the exchange. You two, fetch me the bottle, now! Oh dear, what's going on? He just had to pay them to do. Again, my apologies, Master Gigeruju. I shall endeavor to prevent any similar oversights in the future. You have my word. Yes, yes. But may I ask, what exactly are your plans for that bottle? This? Why, dispose of it, of course. It's far too foul to even flavor a stew. Then you wouldn't mind if I kept it, would you? Kept it? But why? Why do you think? There is coin to be made. A little wax about the top, and I can convince my fool colleagues back in Ul'dah that this is an authentic sealed bottle of Damascus Red. And once the bidding ends, I'll have enough for another wing to my manor here. Master Gigeruju, knowingly presenting someone with a bottle of wine understood to be of inferior quality, that would be, I could never allow such a thing. Oh, gods. Never! Never! What's one bottle? I'll even give you a cut of the profits! A small cut! I said never! And I said... Ah! Goodbye, tidy profit. Now look what you've done! Ladies, hurry and collect those pieces! I have some animal glue in the bungalow! What the Okay, that's nothing short of creepy. Okay, the one on the right was nothing short of creepy. And, a good day to you, too. All's well that ends well, I suppose. The important thing is that we exchange the bottles. Now, as to how this is all going to affect my future dealings with Master Gegirushu, you let me worry about that. What's this? A second bottle of Le Monde. For me? You know I cannot accept such a gift. There are literally thousands more where this came from. Well, if that's the case, I suppose I can. Thank you again for the wonderful gift. As a distributor of fine wines, rarely am I allowed the luxury of partaking in mine own supply. I shall truly enjoy this exception. Perhaps I will even allow old Birgelain to glass. Half a glass. Here's to hoping it will inspire his winery to even greater heights. Is that another bottle I see sticking its cork from your pack? God, those things truly are bottomless, aren't they? Well, as happy as I would be to take it off your hands, I believe there is another far more deserving than I. You'll find poor Dress where he always is. Alright, let's ride. What's wrong, It's a good thing I'm severely overpowered for this, because otherwise, you know. There we go. Why have you come back? There's nothing for you here. There's nothing for any of us. What about that bottle? Where did you... The scent... Home. I'm sorry, I don't deserve this. 'Twas my wife. My wife who always saved the corks. Do you think she'd forgive me if I told her I wasn't coming back? Would my brothers in arms, would they allow me this respite? Maybe it is time I asked them. They'll all be here soon, just like they are every night. But tonight, I'll have brought them something. Thank you, friend. Thank you. Alright, let's head back to Kugane. A nice, touching end to everything. Alright, we're back here. You're back! And far quicker than last time. Everything off with nary a hitch then, I presume? That is truly, truly wonderful to hear. And I'm not simply saying that because there's been this nagging in my gut that's followed me since I asked you to fetch me some wine that fateful day. Please, accept this as a token of my gratitude. I've been told you adventuring types collect them as well. Alright, achievement unlocked, live to serve. Lord of the Fetch. Oh god. Alright, let's we're gonna finish off by talking to everyone and well, at least talking to who we can. So let's start with Ramza. I hope the new act was to your liking. It may still change seeing as we have yet to finish our rehearsals, but I believe Father has another masterpiece on his hands. I have always admired my father, but never more than I do now. I finally have come to understand why it was so important for him to tell the tales that he did, even if those actions did see him driven from his home. Still, I worried that we may never find our place here in this foreign land, and that our voices may never be heard. Everything we knew is gone. Everything we worked for, behind us. Will the people of Othard and Aldenard accept us for what we offer, in spite of who we were? Will they flock to our stage to hear our stories? Will they laugh at our jests and weep for our losses? I know it is childish to fret over such matters, but perhaps I am still a child, desperate for the acceptance of strangers, despite the fact that I am already accepted by my friends and family. Something that happened that day I laid hands on my mother's necklace. My father would have me believe that it was the hero Ramza's Orosite, the Virgo, that dispelled the fear and hate in my heart and replaced it with love. I would like to believe that it was not the only holy stone, but me, growing up, journeying to a new land, meeting new people, learning of new cultures and customs. These things ignited a flame inside me, a flame of change. You, Mont Blanc, Herdy, Mikoto, Master Sid, Boggy, Fran, even Lena. You have all helped fan that flame, that they may rise into a conflagration to burn away the old Ramza, leaving what stands here before you now. My father spoke of one day authoring a play that would chronicle your adventures. I believe I will tell him to abandon that endeavor, for I wish to author it myself. That is, if you will allow it. You are welcome here anytime, Chris, and I hope that you will take time to visit and tell us more of your deeds. I shall be waiting. Let's hope that we don't have to hear much of Alma.
Thanks are not nearly enough for all you have provided us, but sadly, they are all I have to offer. Thank you, Chris. You watched the rehearsal, so you have witnessed firsthand the fruits of my father's labor. It is now on us, the players, to see their seeds cast across the realm. From fleeing the Empire to searching for a new audience. From finding the truth of our ancestors to bringing back my mother to saving my brother. Many paths were walked on this journey, but ultimately they all led here. Was it merely the Orosite that guided us to Orbone Monastery? Or was it, dare I say, fate? Our exile, our arrival in Hingashi, my father's disappearance, without even a single one of these things, our paths may not have crossed. If that is not fate, then... Now that Ramza's desire has been fulfilled, the Orosite set in this necklace appears to have lost its blessing. Perhaps it is for the best, but I am simply glad that a piece of my mother remains. I shall not say farewell, for I would not have this meeting be our last. Allow me instead to offer a prayer. Mother, Abandon not your wayward children of Ivalice, but deliver us from our sins, that we might know salvation.
Alright. Last but certainly not least, let's talk to Genomus. Yesterday, Ivalice was a legend. Today it is history. And this is all thanks to your selfless efforts. No longer need I hide my heritage, for you have shown it to be noble. I only pray this final act I have penned proves worthy of them and their deeds. Granted, it still requires much polishing. And yes, I am fully aware that my conclusion to Ramza's tale differs from that which you saw in your vision and learned in the halls of Mouliand. But that was rather the point. I wanted people to see Ramza in control of his own fate, ending his story on his own terms, and trusting faith into future generations is noble, but it diminishes the accomplishments of Ramza and his companions, which is why I granted them the victory they deserved. History remembers those who prevailed, and thus will his name endure. Now, was there all else you wish to ask me?
I'm just gonna...
No. I'll read those later. Of course it wasn't the end.
Now that old Genomus has finally discontinued his jolly junkets into the untamed wild, he is once more committed to the company. I venture we have you to thank for that. And so, to show our gratitude, my husband would like to offer you further opportunity for employment. Isn't that thoughtful of him?
Another fetch quest. Great.
Chris, did I ever tell you how much I adore this city? It is simply so exotic. And the cuisine, oh, the cuisine! I've never experienced so many flavors in my mouth at once.
Phrasing.
Why, just the other day, I was given a jug of the most wonderful rice wine by the lad from the Mujikoza who purchased my collection of past works. Can you believe it? Wine, made of rice of all things. What will they think of next? But I suppose you're wondering why I had my darling summon you over. Well, it's this wine. Well, absolutely delightful. None of the nibbles I usually take with my traditional reds and whites pair well with the stuff. And so, once again I require your help. The kind woman who operates the shuttle to the Prima Vista tells me if I am to eat like a true Hingan, then I should start with grilled turban, tempura, and some ridiculous thing called takoyaki. I believe 3 of each should suffice. Oh, and as always, only the best of the best.
Am I just here to do fetch quests for the rest of the stream? Like, seriously. In retrospect, I should have done this so close to the time it would for me to be sleeping. Ow. Alright, first... Oh, great. I'll take care of my retainers and putting them in new, I'll send them on ventures later. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of just so I can get this quest done. Oh yeah. All right. Three servings of grilled turban, tempura, and takoyaki. And nothing like that you'd find at the corner stall. I expect only the finest. There you go. I never doubted you, Chris. My darling, she may have doubted you, but me? Never. You have quite the knack for this line of work. Now, let the festivities begin. Here is your reward. Please see yourself out. Alright, so with that being said, the starstruck youth is over here with the company dancer. Could this be the budding of young love? Who knows? And who cares? But anyway, with that being said, we have finally... But yeah, all's well that ends well. We don't see hide or hair of Bwagi, Fran, and the rest of them, so, we'll have to see, we'll see if they make a return. But until then, that's it for this episode of Cruise Next Purgatory. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you all enjoyed the show. As always, if you're watching this on Twitch or live at PlayStation and you like this show, click the follow button below and be sure to turn on notifications. Also, subscribe to me so I can pay for the bills. If you're watching this on YouTube and you like this video, click the like button below and leave a comment. Subscribe to my channel by clicking here. Click here to watch more by me. Click here to watch the next episode. And click here to watch the previous one. Until next time, Cruise the Gex, signing out.